Hello, welcome to our interview session. My name is Hani Kairina. Can you tell me what's your name and where you came from?
Hello, my name is Chao Sui. I'm from Beijing, China.
Okay, without further ado, let's start the interview. Hi, my name is Hani Kairina binti Iran Firdaus, and I will be presenting an analysis of Chinese English. In Kachu's model, China falls into the expanding circle, reflecting its unique adaptation of English that stands apart from other variations. Now, let's dive into the analysis to explore these distinctive features. The reason that I chose China is because China's unique socio-economic history and rapid globalization have made English a crucial skill for accessing better jobs, opportunities, and higher education. Mandarin's distinct phonetic features pose specific challenges for English pronunciation, making it a rich context for studying how native phonology impacts English learning. Additionally, the localized adaptation of English and the socio-cultural importance of English proficiency in China provide valuable insights into the global use of English. The subject for the interview is Chao Sui. She is a 24 years old female from Beijing, China. Currently, she is studying software engineering at University Technology Malaysia, UTM. I chose this subject because she was born in Beijing, China, and have stayed there for 23 years. I believe that she grew up immersed in Mandarin, and now I want to explore her journey in learning English and its usage in her country. Moving on to the first aspect, which is the power of English language in China. I asked my subject a few questions, theme aspect 1. For the analysis, the subject claimed that in China, people perceive English as playing a crucial role in the future personal and professional development. Professionally, proficiency in English can provide access to better job opportunities, especially in multinational companies and international markets. It is also essential for pursuing higher education abroad and attending global conference. Personally, the subject thinks that English allows people in China to access a vast amount of information, literature, and media, enriching their knowledge and cultural understanding. It also facilitates travel and communication with people from different parts of the world, making it a valuable skill in today's world where English language has been globalized. Moreover, she stated that the ability to speak English has positively affected her social life. It allows her to connect with international students, expatriates, broadening her social circle. In social settings, people often treat her with respect and are impressed by the English language skills that she has. It also opens opportunities to participate in events and activities where English is the primary language to enhance her social experience. Next aspect is the history, development, and current progress of English language in China. I asked the subject a few questions, theme aspect 2. According to the subject's response, there are several historical events that have significantly impacted English education in China. One major event was the economic reform and opening up policy initiated by Deng Xiaoping in the late 1970s. This policy increased the international trade and cooperations, leading to a greater emphasis on learning English to engage with the global economy. Additionally, China's entry into the World Trade Organization (WTO) in 2001 further boosted the importance of English language as the country became more integrated into the global market. Furthermore, the subject claims that her older families learn English differently than she did.
There's some older relatives who learn English differently than I did.
Okay.
Because their exposure to English was limited. They only learn English through old textbook. Meanwhile, the younger generation, which is me, I have more exposure to English through social media, through movies. So that makes the difference between English accent between me, the younger generation, and my grandparents who are the older generation.
The exposure to English was limited and often based on older British English textbooks. They might use outdated vocabularies and have a heavier accent influenced by their native dialects. In contrast, in the subject's generation, it has more exposure to American English through media and modern education methods, leading to a difference in pronunciation and the usage of English. Last aspect is features of localized version of variety of English found in China in terms of phonological. I asked the subject a few questions, theme aspect 3. As a Mandarin native speaker, one of the main challenges she faced with English pronunciation is distinguishing between certain sounds that do not exist in Mandarin Chinese, such as the th sound in think and this.
I think that this is a very difficult thing to master in English because in Mandarin is a tonal language. Meanwhile, English relies more on the stress and intonation. So I find that kind of hard to master in English.
Additionally, the differences in intonation and stress patterns can be difficult to master, as Mandarin is a tonal language and English relies more on stress and rhythm. There are several words that are particularly challenging for Chinese people to pronounce. For example, the word rural.
A word that I find very hard to pronounce, which is rural, rural. Yeah, that's very hard for me to pronounce.
It is difficult because of the consecutive R sounds, which are not common in Mandarin. This is because Mandarin R sound is pronounced differently than the English R sound. Okay. The Mandarin R is a retroflex approximant made by curling the tongue back towards the roof of the mouth. This is very different from the alveolar approximant R sound in English. In addition, complex syllable structures and consonant clusters often makes words like specific and vocabulary tricky to pronounce. Having a native-like pronunciation in English is quite important to the subject personally. It helps in being clearly understood and reduces the chances of miscommunication. Additionally, it boosts her confidence when interacting with native speakers and in professional settings. Native-like pronunciation can also create a positive impression, showing that she has a strong command of the language. The hypothesis of native language influences an individual's English pronunciation is accepted. Based on the interviewer's answers, I can summarize that the subject's native language, which is Mandarin, significantly influences her English pronunciation, affecting her ability to produce and differentiate between certain sounds, manage intonations and stress, and adapt to various English dialects. This evidence supports the hypothesis which underscores the importance of considering native language influence in language learning and pronunciation. And that marks the end of this presentation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Akila Shaira bint Zainuddin, ID I22111061. So in this video, I will analyze about our grouping assignment. The country that I choose is Indonesia. So Indonesia is categorized as expanding circle country. So without further ado, let's get straight with the analysis. This is our subject background. His name is Muhammad Salman Al-Farisi. His age is 18 years old. He is from Bekasi, West Java, Indonesia, and studied at SMA Progressive Bumi Shalawat, and now he is a fresh graduate. Why we choose Salman as our interviewee is because, based on regional perspective, coming from Bekasi, West Java, Salman offers a regional perspective that might differ from those in other parts of Indonesia. This can help illustrate regional variation in English proficiency and educational opportunities. Next is educational experience. Salman experienced at SMA Progressive Bumi Shalawat, a progressive school tension like on the quality and approach of English education in modern Indonesian school. His insight can reflect the effectiveness of English curriculum and teaching method in preparing students for global communication. Last but not least, here is representation of young generation perspective. As an 18 years old recent high school graduate, Salman provides insight into how the younger generation in Indonesia perceive and engage with standard English. This can highlight the current state of English education and its impact on students.
The ability to speak English also affects one's social life. Those who can speak English well are often considered more educated and have a higher social status. In some social situations, speaking English can convey professionalism and confidence. Looking to the future, the role of English in personal and professional development in Indonesia is very significant. English proficiency can enhance career opportunities, allow access to international education, and expand social and professional networks. This is a significant advantage in an increasingly global connected world.
So, based on our analysis on aspect 1, the power of English in Indonesia, we found that having native-like English pronunciation is important for professional and social reasons. For them, speaking English well can convey a higher social status and professionalism. English proficiency is seen as beneficial for personal and professional development, enhancing career opportunities, accessing international education, and also expanding social and professional networks.
There are differences in the way English is spoken between older and younger generation in Indonesia. Older generation might have learned English with different methods and have accents more influenced by Indonesian or Dutch, while younger generations are more exposed to American English through media. Historically, several important events have influenced English education in Indonesia. For example, during the Dutch colonial period, English was not very important. However, after independence and with globalization, the government began to emphasize the importance of English in the national education curriculum. Programs such as teacher training and the improvement of learning materials have been introduced to enhance English teaching.
Next, in aspect 2, which is history, development, and current progress of English language in Indonesia, based on our analysis, we discovered that during the Dutch colonial period, English was not emphasized in Indonesia. After independence and with globalization, the government began to prioritize English in national education curriculum. Older generation may have learned English differently and have accent more influenced by Indonesians or Dutch. Lastly, younger generation are more exposed to American English through social media.
Talking about the challenges of English pronunciation in Indonesia, many of Indonesians face several difficulties. One of the biggest challenges is the difference between phonemes and Indonesian on English. For example, sounds like the in English do not have a direct counterpart in Indonesian, making it often difficult for native Indonesian speakers to pronounce correctly. There are some words and phrases in English that Indonesians often find it difficult. For example, the word comfortable is often pronounced differently, and words with double consonant combinations like strength and word, I think, are also challenging. The Indonesian language as a mother tongue influences English pronunciation. For instance, in Indonesia, every letter in word is usually pronounced unlike in English, which has many exceptions. This causes some Indonesian to tend to pronounce every letter in English words, which is not always correct. Regarding English dialects, some Indonesians find that American accent is easier to understand and mimic compared to British and Australian accents. This may be due to dominance of American media such as films and TV shows in Indonesia. Um, to improve their English pronunciation, many Indonesians use various methods. Some take English courses, while others practice by watching movies and listening to music in English. Language learning apps are also popular and help improve pronunciation as well. Personally, having native like English pronunciation is very important for many Indonesians for professional and social reasons. In inversely globalized world, the ability to speak English well can open up wider career opportunities and increase an individual's competitiveness.
Last analysis is aspect 3. The features of localized version of English found in Indonesia in terms of phonological. In this aspect, interviewee explained that some English dialects, such as American, are perceived as easier to understand and mimic in Indonesia. Next, Indonesian people have some difficulty with certain words and phrases like comfortable, strength, and world in order to pronounce it. In addition, differences in phonemes between Indonesian and English, such as the th sound, pronouncing every letter in English words due to the influence of Indonesian language. Overall, our hypothesis is native language influence an individual's English pronunciation. As for our conclusion or justification, after Indonesia's independence in 1945, English continued to be taught as a crucial foreign language, solidifying its role in education and international communication. Furthermore, Indonesian English demonstrates adaptability to global communication needs while retaining localized linguistic identities and variants. Now, English has been officially accepted in Indonesia, where most of Indonesian widely spoken English. So, in conclusion, the study of variation across expanding circle Englishes reveals the dynamic and adaptive nature of English as a global language. Embracing linguistic diversity in this context enhances cross-cultural understanding and communication on a global scale.
Hi, my name is Nurin Sofia Ilyana binti Muhammad Saiful Azli. So today I will be presenting the analysis of Indian English based on the interview that I have conducted. So, first of all, I am going to introduce to you my subject. Muhammad Zishan is an Indian living in Delhi, India, aged 24 years old. He is a pharmacy student in India. First of all, my name is Nurin Sofia Ilyana. You can call me Sophia. So can you tell me what's your name?
Hello Sophia, myself Muhammad Zishan. You can call me Zishan. I'm from India.
Okay.
I'm actually a pharmacy student. I'm currently completed my B.Pharm and I'm planning for a master's.
Oh wow. May I know in what university?
I'm actually planning for outside India, like Germany.
Oh, Germany. Oh, that's nice. So can I know how old are you?
I'm 24.
34 years old. Oh, okay. So, what makes Zishan from India the right subject? I believe that English is spoken by a significant portion of the population in India, particularly in urban areas, among the educated, and in professional settings. However, it's true that the majority of Indians primarily speak regional languages such as Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, and others in their daily basis. The extent of English usage varies widely across different regions and demographics within the country. So, in order to prove that these are accurate, I came across Zishan for the answers. In what ways has your social life been affected by your ability to speak English? Like, for instance, how do people treat you when you speak English in social settings?
Well, basically, I will say that in India, in our society, not today only, but way back from I think early 2000s till now, the people who are like English speakers or who speak English are considered to be more knowledgeable, more intelligent.
Yeah.
So it's like a very impactful thing in our country. If you know English, you are speaking in English, you are debating in English, you are considered as a literate person.
Yeah, and people treat you better. So in India, fluent English speakers are widely perceived as more knowledgeable, powerful, and trustworthy across business and social contexts. Mastery of English not only enhances communication but also garners respect and admiration, often leading to increased influence and opportunities.
So, and in my life personally, English has helped me a lot because this language has helped me to communicate with all the people over the country. I have so many friends here also, so many friends outside the country also. I'm also like feeling more confident with it. So it's a very, impactful thing in my life.
Yeah. So, this advantage extends to international interactions where English proficiency facilitates trust and credibility. From educational settings to professional environments, the ability to articulate in English is viewed as a key to unlocking doors to success and advancement. This cultural perception underscores the importance of language as a tool for social mobility and professional achievement in India. Moving on to the next aspect, British colonization in India, spanning over 2 centuries, which are 200 years, significantly shaped the linguistic landscape of the subcontinent. Despite their prolonged presence, the British administration, unlike many other colonizers, did not adopt to the local languages such as Hindi, preferring to maintain English as the primary language of governance and also education. Okay, so the next question is, what are some historical events that have significantly impacted English education in your country?
See, in India, there was British rule for more than 200 years.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Yes, we were like a colonized country under British Army.
Oh, yeah, for 200 years.
So
Okay.
they had, there was a person, I don't remember the name, in 1870s, he implemented English language as the mode of communication between Indians and Britain people, because earlier British people were learning Hindi to communicate with us. So to make them easier to communicate them.
The establishment of the first English school in the 1870s marked the formalization of English as a medium of instruction, solidifying its role in the Indian education system. So today, English continues to play a vital role in Indian education, politics, businesses, and culture.
Like started opening schools in India, and the first English school was also opened in India in 1870s in Kerala. So from there, the English was a part of our education system and is still going on.
Oh, I see. Let's move on to the next aspect. aspect 3. So, many Indian English speakers encounter challenges with pronunciation, particularly distinguishing between certain sounds such as the t and the d sound. This difficulty often results in words being ratio being pronounced as radio due to the interchangeability of these sounds in their speech patterns. So to the next question, are there any words or phrases in English that you find particularly difficult to pronounce? If so, can you give me some examples?
Also called ratio.
Ratio.
When I first learned it, spelling is like R-A-T-I-O. I spelled it radio.
Radio.
So it was something I had a confusion with that thing.
I see. So you have a problem pronouncing the word T, is it?
Yeah.
Moreover, homophones or words that sound alike but have different meaning and spelling can pose significant confusion. The lack of distinction in pronunciation can lead to misunderstandings and also miscommunications in their everyday conversations.
But with time I started learning, so I was facing a lot of problems in pronunciation basically. There are various words like they are written in the same way but are spelled differently in different places due to I think vernacular differences or other differences.
Interestingly, due to historical ties and the influence of British colonization, many Indians find British English accents easier to understand rather than American English accents. This preference is reinforced by the British English curriculum integrated into the Indian education system, which familiarizes students with British pronunciation norms and phonetics from an early age compared to American English. So, are there any English dialect, British or American or Australian that you find easier or harder to understand or mimic?
I find American accent a bit difficult to get it.
Really?
Yeah, because there was time when people from America came to our university for some science workshop.
Okay.
So we were like talking, and in personal I was talking to them, not on the stage. So I found out there were some words they were saying that I was not able to get it. Then I realized like that I'm not good in getting their accent.
So you can understand British accent. Like British accent is
Yeah,
easier to
because
understand.
yes, in India we are more like learning British English.
I see. So here's come the last part of this analysis, which is the hypothesis and also the justification. So overall, I think the hypothesis is accepted. I believe that native tongues have an impact on phonetic skills and accent development, which in turn have an impact on how non-native speakers of English, such as the subject of my interview, Muhammad Zishan, speak the language. The language landscape of India has been shaped by English, as evidenced by the historical, social and also educational context. Thus, it makes sense to take into account how one's native tongue affects how one pronounces English when analysing language learning and also the communication styles. So I think that is all from me for the outer circle country that I chose. Thank you so much and bye. See you in the next class.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Soraya Surfina binti Bedro Hisham from class DEC 5B, and today I will be sharing about the analysis made of one of the countries from outer circle in Kachru's model, which is Singapore. So the subject of my interview is Bella Tan. She is 23 years old and currently studying mechanical engineering in MSU. I chose her as she is studying in Malaysia and much prefer to speak in English, so somehow the way she speaks may be influenced by her native language. That comes down to my hypothesis, which is native language influences an individual's English pronunciation. For the first aspect, which is the power of English language in Singapore, it was mentioned that English fluency has a positive social impact in Singapore as it allows smoother interactions with people from various backgrounds and promote deeper cultural understanding. Next, people in Singapore tend to respect individuals who speaks English when in social settings.
English fluency has a positive social impact, which allows for smoother interaction with people from various backgrounds and promoting deeper culture. Also, when I choose to speak in English in a social, people tend to respect me better than speaking in my native language.
Also, English proficiency is critical to personal and professional development by gaining access to global information, pursue higher education, and also advance career prospects.
English has been critical to my personal and professional development, which allow me to gain access to global information and pursue higher education. Also, um, it helps me in improving my career prospects, multinational environment.
Moving on to aspect 2, the history, development, and current progress of English language in Singapore. British colonization in Singapore had a significant impact on English education, which became a cornerstone to the educational system and also the professional development.
I think it's the British colonization in Singapore because I think it's the same as in which with both countries has been colonized by British. It gave a significant effect on English education, which has become a cornerstone to our educational system and professional development.
Subject mentioned how older relatives, such as her grandparents, speaks in a more formal or British accent, whereas younger generations uses American influence accent or Singlish.
I would say my grandparents because they speak more fluently in British accent compared to me, which I usually would use American accent because I learned from social media. And my grandparents, the older generation, which has go through the British colonization era, so that might be factors that affect the way they spoke English.
On to our last aspect, which is aspect 3, where we analyze the features of localized version of English or the variety of English found in Singapore in terms of phonological. First, phrases with subtle pronunciation differences or distinct stress patterns can be difficult to comprehend, such as weather and weather.
Words that hard to pronounce. Entrepreneur. Usually words with distinct what do you call it? It has same pronunciation but different meaning. Like weather and weather. Weather. Weather.
The interviewee said that she finds American English is easier to understand as British English can be difficult.
Educationally, we learn in British English, and for me, it is quite difficult to mimic the British accent. And American accent accent is the easiest for me to mimic due to media exposure because we be scrolling TikTok 24/7.
Bella Tan also said that native-like pronunciation improves communication clarity, especially in global and professional contexts where English is the primary language.
Um, for me, I believe that native like pronunciation um, can improve the clarity in communication, especially global and professional where the primary language is English. As I said earlier, I grew up with mixed language. In my household, use mixed language, which is Malay altogether. So it's kind of a habit for us to use mixed language when talking with others. So when communicating with native speakers, they would it would be hard for them to understand us, and it would be hard for us to understand.
Last but not least, the justification to our hypothesis. As she grew up speaking Mandarin, Malay, and also English, so definitely her native language has an impact on her intonation and rhythm. It also affects the way they pronounce some words and having a hard time to differentiate it. Thus, it was evident that native language does influences an individual's English pronunciation.